What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today we've got another live fantasy football mock draft for you back on ESPN with a 12-team full PPR mock where we will be selecting third overall. Should be pretty interesting. And while we wait for this thing to kick off, a quick reminder, if you enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear in the comment section your thoughts along with any other questions you guys might have. We'll do our best to answer them all. But with that being said, let us get into it. I'm curious to see how these first couple of picks will go. McCaffrey goes first, followed by Tyreek Hill. So here we've got a situation where CeeDee Lamb's still on the board. Jamar Chase is the next best wide receiver. Both these guys are dealing with contract situations. I think both these guys get the contract situations figured out. So I'm just going to take the highest, ranked wide receiver here. Typically, I'd probably go running back, but I know there's a lot of people out there that are going to go wide receiver first. So let us simulate that situation. Hell, I might even go 2 wide receivers in the first 2 rounds for all those haters of the running back position. But no, if this was the real deal, I would have gone with Bijan Robinson and or Breece Hall more than likely. So here we're just playing out a scenario, right? Going with CeeDee Lamb. Let's pull up the pick history. And unfortunately, this is the best we have here with the lack of a draft board. So let's kind of just take it pick by pick. McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, Bijan, Jamar Chase, Breece Hall with the 106 seems like a good value. Justin Jefferson at the 107, Amon-Ra at the 108, Garrett Wilson at the 109. And I imagine, guys like A.J. Brown will be showing up soon. Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, Puka, Jahmyr Gibbs, and I think then you have a case of the dropping in tiers, right? Both at the running back and at the wide receiver position. So I think in the second round, we are going to be in a pretty interesting situation, but, we've still got some time until that happens. In the first round, we see the conclusion of it. After that Garrett Wilson pick at the 109, we have Saquon Barkley, then Jonathan Taylor, then A.J. Brown. I imagine we're going to see Jahmyr Gibbs here probably being selected right afterwards. Kind of the last upper echelon type of player, in my opinion, and that's exactly what we see. 2-1 Jahmyr Gibbs. This is why I really like this combo. Picking last overall allows you to get A.J. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs in this scenario, but basically a tier 1 running back and a tier 1 wide receiver. After Jahmyr Gibbs, you see Puka Nacua. So now Marvin Harrison. I imagine that Kyren Williams, Pacheco are going to be off the board shortly. And, in our pick, we're probably going to be looking at somebody like a Drake London if we really wanted to go another wide receiver. There's a chance we could get him in the third round, honestly, but let's see. Let's see how we play this. Let's see how these next couple of picks go. Travis Etienne, Kyren Williams, Chris Olave. I imagine here you're going to see Pacheco. I imagine you're going to see potentially a tight end. There goes Pacheco. So pretty much going as expected. Derrick Henry still on the board. We need a running back. Wide receiver, Drake London. James Cook just went. Running backs, I was looking at James Cook. He was on the radar. Let's wait, all right? I guess we will practice patience. Let's go with Drake London here and see what happens afterwards. I passed up on Derrick Henry. I passed up on guys like Joe Mixon. Achane, DK Metcalf goes at the 211. Let's quickly recap the second round here for you guys. So it was Jahmyr Gibbs, Puka, Marvin Harrison, Devontae Adams, Kyren Williams, Travis Etienne, Chris Olave, Pacheco, James Cook. I was really hoping James Cook would fall to us. He doesn't. Then we went with Drake London, DK Metcalf afterwards, followed by Derrick Henry with the last pick in the second round. So this is kind of one of those situations that you might face yourself with if you go with 2 wide receivers early on. And I feel like this is where you can run into trouble, right? Because right now, the running backs that are still left, I have question marks about all of them. And Michael Pittman, Cooper Kupp go. Okay. Running backs, wide receivers. I'm not going to be going wide receiver. Running back, I'm passing up Joe Mixon. If I'm going upside here, you know, Achane would be the guy, but I think that's going to be a crowded backfield. I think Raheem Mostert arguably is the better value. So I'm going to go with Rachaad White as our first running back here in the third round. And then we'll see if we stay patient and kind of let the draft fall to us in the fourth round, so on and so forth. Pittman, Cooper Kupp, Rachaad White. Now goes Mike Evans. So this is one of those pitfalls of potentially ignoring the running back position through the first two rounds. I think I would have felt definitely better if we had gone with like Breece Hall, then we had Drake London, then we went with a Cooper Kupp or something like that, or we went Cooper Kupp first. One of those variations, basically. But either way, we move on forward. In the third round so far, Michael Pittman, Cooper Kupp. We went with Rachaad White, Mike Evans, Nico Collins, Joe Mixon, Devon Achane, Devonta Smith. Achane is a guy that's just too boom or bust, in my opinion. I could see a situation where Wright plays. I think he's a high upside guy as well. Big home run hitter. I don't know if the volume is going to be there for Achane. I think the efficiency is going to go down. So really just a player that kind of scares me. Devonta Smith afterwards, followed by Travis Kelce. I believe Sam Laporta is still available, which at this point in time would be a decent value. Yeah. And speaking of, he goes at the 310. So now I think probably in the fourth round, if we go with another running back, we're going to be looking at the likes of an Aaron Jones, a Zamir White, something like that, more than likely. Wide receivers here that I think are good values. Jalen Waddle is a really good value that's still on the board. He shouldn't be available at this point in time, but people are a little bit worried with his injury. A bit minor type of situation. Going to the last picks in the third round here, we saw Josh Jacobs, Alvin Kamara. First quarterback off the board with Josh Allen. Okay. I like that we are staying patient at the quarterback position. There goes Brendan Ayuk, followed by Stephon Diggs. And let's see how this is playing out for us. I have to imagine that DJ Moore, Jalen Waddle are going to be selected here shortly. I wouldn't be shocked if they're their next two picks in that exact order. So I think that's probably, there goes DJ Moore. There goes Jalen Waddle. We called it. Yep. So Kenneth Walker also probably going to be selected here. If there's an auto pick, don't be shocked if Aaron Jones is also called. If his name is called, Jalen Hurts just went, followed by Kenneth Walker. Okay. Let's see if we get sniped on Aaron Jones or not, because I think right now he's by far and away the best running back left. There goes Aaron Jones. All right. Interesting. So I think right now the best value would honestly be Patrick Mahomes at the quarterback position. And end of the fourth round. Let's see if these guys have quarterbacks. He does not. Well, let's roll with it. We're going to go with Patrick Mahomes. We're going to go with Patrick Mahomes. There goes Ramondre Stevenson. Let's see if there's a quarterback selected. Anthony Richardson, maybe, but I guess we could have potentially tried to wait for Patrick Mahomes in the fifth round. There goes Malik Neighbors. I think right now we kind of have to be looking at Zamir White potentially. I don't love that pick. Yeah, there goes Lamar and Anthony Richardson. So we're kind of right. There was a run on the quarterback position. So here, if we really wanted to go with a top end tight end, ignore the running back spot, we would go with a Trey McBride. Man, do I put myself behind the eight ball? Screw it. Let's go. Let's really stretch the limits of this one running back build squad. We're going Patrick Mahomes, Trey McBride, CeeDee Lamb, Drake London. This is your, just hope for the best at the running back position, which is what scares me, and why I typically go at least the first 2 out of the 3 rounds, or 2 out of the first 4 rounds, I want to leave with 2 running backs. And I want to have a little bit more balance at that position. But yeah, if we waited for a tight end, for example, in case you were saying, oh, it's a reach, the top tight ends are going to go. In fact, here in the 5th round, we had Lamar, Anthony Richardson, Trey McBride, Calvin Ridley, Zay Flowers. There goes Mark Andrews. There goes Dalton Kincaid. There goes Evan Ingram. So for those positions, even though I don't think they were necessarily the best values, and in regards to how we build our team, Patrick Mahomes and Trey McBride, we stopped their falls, and from an ADP perspective, we did well with them, and it wasn't like we reached. So I'll take that. James Conner, George Pickens just went off the board. Let's look at the pick history again. Kyle Pitts. So all the top tight ends here in this specific mock draft are pretty much off the board by the end of the 5th round. Kyle Pitts with the second to last pick. I would have gone Aaron Jones if he was there for me in the 4th round, but he wasn't, so kind of pivoted. Went with Patrick Mahomes instead. George Kittle goes with the first pick in the 6th round. People realizing that the tight end position is kind of drying up. Here, looking at these names, there's no chance in hell he's going to be there for us, but T. Higgins is an absolute steal at this point in time. Jonathan Brooks, even though ESPN has him ranked very highly, I will say, in my opinion, this is a little bit too early for him because he is going to miss a good chunk of the season, and I think it's going to take a while for him to be a full go. So you could argue Chuba Hubbard is going to be a pretty damn good value. I might go DeAndre Swift as my number 2 running back. Brian Robinson also. Christian Kirk, Deontay Johnson, I think all good values. Let's see what we have to work with here. I might go DeAndre Swift if he's there, though, first. Oh, man. DeAndre Swift just got selected, so I guess not. Brian Robinson? Let's go with Brian Robinson as our number 2 running back. I think with the problem with Jonathan Brooks is that it's going to take him time before he gets on the field. You're going to be waiting 3-4 weeks, maybe longer. You got to put him on your PUP list or on your IR spot. Excuse me. Deontay Johnson just went before Jalen Warren. Let's look at the pick history here. Is Christian Kirk? If Christian Kirk is still there, I might scoop him up. Javonte Williams, David Njoku. I'm on the clock. Jonathan Brooks is still there. I guess we could take him at this point. We did get Brian Robinson, go with a high upside guy. Yeah. I guess we can do that. And then we got to really make some magic happen in the later round. In 8 and 9. Got to get a good value on running back and wide receiver. I think you could argue we should have gone with Christian Kirk. Or maybe even like Rashee Rice, Tank Dell. I think it's just going to be really hard with Tank Dell and the Houston wide receivers to pinpoint which one is going to be the guy, right? So after our Jonathan Brooks pick, again, let's pull up the pick history. You see Dak, Kyler, Tank Dell, Rashee Rice. So we got a couple auto picks, so I think this is going to speed up here in a little while. And again, this is why I personally don't like selecting a quarterback and tight end necessarily that early, because you're going to be in a position where, you don't exactly have depth at running back, wide receiver. So that could be something that kind of bites you. Pick history, let's look at 7th round is almost over. After Rashee Rice, Tyjae Spears, Jaden Reed, Jordan Love. Then goes Keenan Allen. One more pick to go here in the 7th round. I think at this point in time, Christian Kirk, come on now. Christian Kirk is way, way, way too good of a value to still be left on the board. I know he's nicked up, but Not super serious, just to show you guys here the news. It's a calf, but he has time. He has time to get healthy, so I'm not exactly too worried. Tony Pollard just went with the last pick in the 7th round. So the way I'm kind of looking at this here, I'm going to just pretend like these next 10 names aren't going to be available to us. And if that's the case, then we are looking at the likes of, well, let's just sort it by wide receiver and running back. We know that that's what we're going to be looking for. Christian Watson, DeAndre Hopkins, Marquise Brown. Oof, I have issues with all of these players. Ladd McConkey is somebody that I like as an upside wide receiver. Running back, Singletary, Mostert, Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is really the tough guy to pinpoint, right? Like, what's going to happen? When's he going to be available? Oh, Jerome Ford just went. I was going to really try and get Jerome Ford. I thought that was a really good value. Ferguson. Let's go with Chase Brown, I think, is going to be in the committee, right? A wide receiver. I'll go with Ladd McConkey as an upside guy, even though he's a rookie. I think, you could do worse. Raheem Mostert just went. I'm gonna tell you a pick at the running back position here that is not being drafted highly enough. It's Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard is going to be the starting running back for the Panthers for a while. Where is he? He's all the way at 173. That is criminal. Here we could go with Gus Edwards, potentially Chase Brown, lock down part of that. I think it's going to be a committee in Cincinnati, but still, let's go with Chase Brown. And then I will queue up Chuba Hubbard because, again, I think that is just a really nice way to lock down that backfield. Oops, not Ray Davis, Chuba Hubbard. And then we get a little bit of a better situation with that Carolina backfield. So, okay. Could be worse. Sure, we've got the standouts at quarterback, tight end, and wide receiver, but running back is hurting folks. So I think that is obviously the weakness of this squad. But let me know how you feel about this type of strategy where you really do go wide receiver heavy, and then how it turns out, the potential pitfalls. I think it's an interesting strategy. And as always, if you guys enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. But in the meantime, we'll see you guys in future videos.